On this sunny morning, I am at a very interesting place. I'm at Clackamas Community College, but I'm at the Home Orchard Arboretum with Monica. Monica, what a cool place.
Yeah, this is a really unique spot. We have an 1.5 acres of fruiting plants here that's been around for about 30 years.
Wow. And so today we're going to talk about grafting and really explain what is grafting, because a lot of people really don't understand what that means.
Right. Well, so grafting is essentially taking two different kinds of fruit trees and putting them together. Most every fruit tree is grafted. So it's something that's happening all the time, whether we're aware of it or not.
Okay. So, and what are these trees right here? Because they're all in a row and they're kind of similar, but maybe not.
Right, not exactly the same. What we have here is a demonstration of how we can have the same type of fruit on a tree, but that they can be very different sizes depending on what rootstock we've grafted those fruits onto.
Oh, so if I eat a Melrose apple and I plant that seed, that's not going to work?
No, yeah, you could plant that seed, but you wouldn't get a Melrose apple tree. You'd get something that's genetically never existed before. So if you want to make sure that you have a Melrose apple, you need to graft a scion onto a rootstock.
And we're going to show that later, but we're going to go see a cherry tree first. So let's go see that one.
All right.
Now, Monica, this is really interesting because there's actually 4 different flavors on this cherry tree. So why would I want to do that?
Well, we are the Home Orchard Society, so we want to help people choose what's appropriate for them at home. And a lot of people don't have a ton of space.
True, that's so true.
So we want to, with grafting, we can actually be putting more than one type of cherry on a single tree so that you get that variety without taking up so much space in your yard. And
let's look at that.
yeah, let's take a look. So here, these 4 separate large branches are each a different kind of cherry, but they're all grafted onto the same tree. And you can kind of see the change in the bark. Years ago when this was grafted, this is where the rootstock ended, and this is where the grafts were made with the scion, giving us 4 different types of trees, or 4 different types of fruit on the one tree.
Well, that is just so cool, and we're going to actually demonstrate how you can do that right for your own self.
Yes.
Oh, so cool. Let's go over there.
Thanks.
Monica, we get to see exactly what grafting is, and these are little baby plants.
They are. This tree over here was grafted this time last year. You can tell where the graft was because it's got this yellow goop on it here.
Okay.
And last year it grew this whole length in just 1 year.
Wow, really good graft.
Then this one here is a tree that was grafted just yesterday. And again, you can see where the graft was made. The scion, this top part, was cut back. And hopefully it will take off this year and grow just as much as that one did last year.
And so winter is the key, it sounds like.
Winter's the time to graft. We took the scions, which again is the word that I'm using to describe this 1-year growth that we use. This is going to be what you need to get the fruit variety that you want. So again, we talked about it at the rootstock demonstration over in the first scene, but this is a Melrose scion that we took 1-year growth, and now we're going to use it to graft and make our tree.
Okay.
Because again, just to remind everybody, the bottom half here is the rootstock below. That's what's going to determine what kind of soil our tree can grow well in, as well as how big this tree is going to get.
And that's the cool thing about grafting, because you can choose both parts and make one tree.
Yes, you get to mix and match. So again, if you want a small tree, you want to get a smaller dwarfing rootstock.
Right.
If you're okay with a large tree, then you can get a larger rootstock that'll grow much taller.
Okay.
But on the home scale, you might really want to choose small trees because they're much easier to work with.
Definitely.
You don't have to get on ladders. You don't have to have fruit that's out of reach. So we really do try to promote people using more of these dwarfing rootstocks.
And then about from this size to fruiting, I can pick an apple, how many years?
So it's probably going to take you about 3 to 4 years before you're going to see many apples off of a tree that you start with when it's this young. And you really are going to want to strip any fruit during those first few years because that allows that energy to go into the roots and the branches before you get the fruit. So it's just a good investment for your tree to wait a little bit before you ask it to do a lot of fruiting.
All right, and now we're going to actually do a demonstration on how to do this. And Melissa is an expert, so go right ahead.
Okay. So what we have here is we've already made the cut on our rootstock. It's this angled cut, and it reveals to us this cambium here, which is the green part just underneath the bark, and that's what we're going to try to line up. So then we take some scion. Would you mind handing me one here?
Okay.
And what we want to do is you'll notice this all was 1-year growth, but it's thicker down here and thinner up here. So what we're looking for is something that's going to be similar to where the rootstock is, which is kind of in here. So I'm going to cut this down. And then I'm going to try to match this cut with my scion. And I do that with a really specific gesture here. Let's see if I can do it.
Because the better the match, the better the graft, and then it'll really take and live.
And live much better. So what we want to do is line up as much of this cambium on our scion with this cambium on our rootstock. I've also made this secondary cut here. We're going to do what's called a whip and tongue graft. So I'm going to turn this, cut this little groove here.
And it just helps it attach together better.
Yeah, this is going to help it anchor together much better. So now we slide these two together. Let's see if I've made my cuts correctly.
You know, I think it's a really great process, and it takes a lot of practice, but you're having an event that would really help newbies be very successful with this.
Yeah, so we have, it's called our Fruit Propagation Fair, and we're going to have, again, these are scions. This is what you need to use for your grafting. We're going to have, of apple alone, we're going to have about 500 different varieties that you could choose from. So again, you could pick that variety, come get a rootstock from us, and make your own tree. So what's important to just finish this graft is that we don't need all of this here. That's way too many buds. We're going to want to cut back to just 2 or 3 here, and then line up this cut so that one side has good contact. And then what we do is we wrap this with a rubber band, wrap it up, put some of this goop on to keep out moisture, but to lock the moisture inside from the tree itself.
And so the event that you were talking about with over 500 varieties of apples to graft is coming up just next weekend. And you go to the website and go to gardentime.tv and see all the information, and go see all of the information. Go see the Home Orchard Society people and ask all your questions, and really bring home a graft of your very own apple or pear and have it in your garden to collect your own fruit from.
Yeah, it's great. You get to grow your own. You get to pick exactly what you want, and you get to kind of experience the whole process of growing this fruit tree from a young tree to something that's going to give you food later in life.
Well, thank you for all the information and demonstration. It's been so interesting.
Well, thanks so much.